You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the May 22nd meeting for the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming today. We'd like to get started with the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission. This is our regular meeting. Today is Thursday, May 22nd, and it is 3 o'clock. This is a date change due to a conflict of schedules. So we are going to be meeting again on June 9th. At this time, the call to order, Clarence Hulse, Philip Latchford, Sheila Brosa-Matias, I'm present. Tracy Tillman.
Present.
Sherry Wilson.
Present.
Tom Domkowski is absent. All members are present. We have a quorum. Next on the agenda, we have two sets of minutes to approve. The first set is our executive session for 4/14/2025 and our regular meeting on the same afternoon, 4/14/2025 at 5 o'clock. I would entertain a motion to approve those two sets of minutes.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes for 4/14/25 executive session and 4/14/25 regular hybrid meeting. I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve both sets of minute meetings for April 14th. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion has carried. Thank you. Next, we have claims, and after that, the financial report. You can do both of those in order?
Yes.
Thank you, Skylar.
Absolutely. This is the claims docket for May 22nd, 2025. For payroll, April of 2025, we had CDBG reimbursable staff and commissioners. From our operating account, we had corporate payment systems for hotel for economic development classes in Muncie. That's the economic development thing I went to last week in Muncie. We had Great American Financial, which is copier fees final from the previous printer, and then Great American Financial for copier fees. Half RC pay, half Redevelopment Commission May of 2025. And then we had Saranac Law Offices for legal retainer for April 2025. In our North TIF, we had August MAC for 2025 activities, Trail Creek Properties, Begley Concord 2/21/25 to 3/30/25. Baker Tilly for financial consultant services for the North TIF. Barnes & Thornburg for legal services for Tryon Meadows, ending in 3/31/25. Barnes & Thornburg legal services for Bloxham arbitration, ending in 3/31/2025. Barnes & Thornburg for legal services for SOLA, ending in 3/31/25. Blue Sky Restorations for the fence at 301 East Barker Avenue. That's the church that we tore down. That was the fence that had to go around it. Butler, Fairman, and Seifert for engineering services at Washington Park Boulevard Streetscape for 4/1/2025 to 4/30/2025. City of Michigan City for Redevelopment Commission Landscape Maintenance 2025. City Vector Department, half North TIF. Global Engineering for Survey and Boundary of Waste Inc. Site 3/31/2025 to 5/11/2025. General Insurance for Builder's Risk Insurance extending to 5/31/2025. We had to extend that Builder's Risk Insurance because we're not opening until about June, so we had to extend it a little bit longer. Just giving you guys a little narrative while I'm talking about through this. Green Demolition. That was the demolition of the church at 301 East Barker Avenue. NIPSCO for electric service for the EV stations at 8th Street and as of 5/1/2025. Saranac Law Offices for legal services in the North TIF, April 2025. The Cellar Door for facade grant reimbursement 2, final at 1901 Franklin Street. The Chicago Consultants. This is for consultant services at 5th and Pine Street Development, 4/1/2025 through 4/30/2025. Wallach, Summers, and Haas for legal fees for You Are Beautiful Sola site 4/3/2025 through 4/29/2025. Washington Street Limited for facade grant reimbursement final 7/22 to 7/24 Washington Street. And Woodlawn Holdings for facade grant reimbursement final for 312 East 8th Street. Woodlawn Holdings for the upper story grant reimbursements for 5 units, 312 East 8th Street. That's the final payment. Zimmerman Volk, this is for the residential market analysis for the Indiana State Prison and surrounding downtown. You may recall they were doing a prison study for the prison site itself, and we extended that to go a little bit wider on the west side to capture that whole kind of picture, so you remember. From the South TIF, we had Baker Tilly for financial consultant services for the South TIF, Baker Tilly for arbitrage services for South TIF, City of Michigan City Redevelopment Commission Landscape Maintenance 2025 Vector, City of Vector Department, half South TIF. Galena's Van Dyke Dodge Ram for purchase of 8 Dodge Chargers for Police Department. Saranac Law Offices for legal services for South TIF, April 2025. U.S. Bank for administration fees 4/1/2025 through 3/31/2026 for the 400 North Bond. East TIF, we had Baker Tilly for financial consultant services in the East TIF. From the Northeast TIF, we had Baker Tilly for financial consultant services in the Northeast TIF. Our 2023 mixed-use transit project bond, we had Flaherty and Collins, our disbursement request number 17 from construction account. 2019 Lafayette Barker bond, U.S. Bank operation and reserve fund, UCC filing 11/1/2024 through 3/17/2025. And we also had a RIF loan disbursement from Schneider Geomatics, disbursement 4 engineering services, Lake Ave, Highway 12 lift station. And we had a 2018 Ohio Street bond, U.S. Bank for requisition 46 administrative fees, 3/1/2025 through 2/28/2026. Sorry, that was a lot.
Thank you. At this time, let's take a vote on the claims. We just heard the claims read for May 22nd, 2025. I would entertain a motion to approve the claims as presented.
I'd like to make the motion to accept the claims as presented for May 22nd of 2025.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to accept the claims that were just presented to us, May 22nd, 2025. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
No nays, so the motion has carried. Thank you. We'll move on to our financial report.
There's a financial sheet as of 3/31/2025. Cash in our operating account, we have $340,147.95. In the Southside TIF account, we have $8,479,457.38. In the Southside TIF debt reserve account, we have $336,308.50. And our Southside TIF capital account, we have $16,199.79. In our North End TIF account, we have $2,791,169.49. In our East Side TIF, we have $681,079.03. In our Northeast TIF account, we have $1,232,218.36. Loans receivable, we have County Business Loan Fund for $94,829.59 for a total assets of $13,971,410.09.
Thank you. We won't have you say that fast.
Long day.
I would entertain a motion to approve the financial report and the balance sheet as presented.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the financial report as presented for March 31st, 2025.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to accept the March 31st, 2025 financial report. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion has carried. Next, Tyler, if you could help with this one. Sorry, we have public comment next. Any members of the public? Scott, we know that you have something to say.
Hello, board. Scott Mellon, 200 Kenwood Place. Seems like we have a new face. Welcome to the board, if I'm getting that right. Actually, I have several things. With public comment at the beginning now, it's a little harder for me. I have to plan ahead.
But you're welcome to have public comment at other times.
Thank
yes.
you. Sure. I think it's only tertiarily addressable by this board, but I'd like to bring up that Franklin Street has been closed for quite some time now due to the water line being run to the 11th Street station. I don't know what we had to do with it, but given the members of this board and their various responsibilities within the city and the council, I'd like to point out, I believe we granted them this, the city department is doing this work, the water department, and I believe they got a 2-week road closure approved. I don't have the exact dates. It feels like we're pushing 2 months at this point. In speaking to professionals in the industry, I'm like, what would happen if a private contractor went a month over? And the answer was they'd be out of business.
Yeah.
The people of Michigan City deserve better, and I think, I don't know who the right person to address this is to, but I know they're trying to get this done before Memorial Day. Well, it is Memorial Day weekend. They have really messed up here. And I think, well, frankly, I don't know how to talk like this. I think heads should roll. Something needs to be done better. The old church site, the demolition site, given that it's going to be a vacant lot for some given time and it was a community thing, how about making a community garden there or something to bring some life back to that corner while we wait for further developments there? I just thought of that sitting here.
Yeah.
And given Mr. York's report of the number of TIFs in our town, I'm curious, and I don't expect an answer today, but love one, what percentage of the community is currently covered by TIFs in area, percentage of area? Because it sounds like we've got a lot of TIF action going on here. Okay, now what brings me here today, and I'm hoping to hear more about this on the update on the SOLA project. I know we're all here very hopeful that this happens. I did some research just today, and I'm wondering if the things I'm about to bring forth were known to the board. Farpoint Developers has a reputation. You can take that either way. And just looking them up today, they're the developer that has proposed a new Bears Stadium, Chicago Bears Stadium, on the Michael Reese site, which is an exciting prospect, and it sounds good that we'd have such a high-level developer interest in Michigan City. Couple things. That site's not going to happen, I don't believe. And two, it shows they're not focused on our project if they're trying to get a $4 billion project in Chicago. They've also been involved in several lawsuits. In fact, as of today, as far as I can tell, there's a lawsuit that they owe the CTA over $2 million in back rent in a building that they rented on the west side of Chicago. And somehow the DNC is involved. I think Farpoint then sublet it or rented to the DNC, but fundamentally rent is owed to the CTA by Farpoint Developers. And finally, there was something called Knight's Head Funding that has, this was behind a paywall, but apparently is also in litigation with for back rent from Farpoint Developers. So as excited as we all are for the potential of our SOLA development, given their clear distractions and the obvious lack of progress at the site that is fast approaching some very hard deadlines within less than 30 days, we need to see some action or they lose city support, as I understand it. So all that said, are these the right people Are we going to get a project? And what the heck is going on? Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from members of the public, either online or on Zoom? I don't see anyone on Zoom.
Tim Warner, city engineer. I just wanted to respond to Scott's comments about the Franklin Street being closed. I just left the site, left the water department there. The street is patched. They're moving the barricades now. It'll be open in the morning.
Your news is timely.
Just in time.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other members of the public who wish to speak at this time? Hearing none, let's close public comment and move on to item 7, agreement for professional services, DEF Consulting, Dan Bodich. Is he online or not?
He is not going to make it today. He is actually on vacation as well. But I did talk to him a little bit about this, and I'm going to explain what exactly we're doing.
Okay.
This is a not to exceed amount of $50,000. Well, given the new SB1 that has been approved by the state, and the effects that could have to tax revenue, things like that, especially our TIFs and things like that. This would be him looking at our whole economic revitalization area, which we define as our whole entire city, which allows Clarence to do the EDC to do tax abatement, things of that nature. But basically, he is going to be looking at how that financially impacts the city, but also our TIFs and things of that nature. This was what that contract would do. And I know that we need to kind of, it'll help us kind of forecast how our future looks, if you will, with projects, how we engage developers with respect to providing TIF revenues or reimbursements.
And the amount is not to exceed 50,000?
That is correct. Dan, this is different than the Baker Tilly. Baker Tilly mainly gets involved with us. How this is different, because we have 2 financial consultants. Baker Tilly helps us do financial analysis on TIFs, on projects. So we give them the proposed buildings and they do financial projections. This would be for him to help us kind of analyze our own internal taxes and our tax revenues at a city level, and how the effects of SB1 could affect us or affect the city. And I think it'll help us financially plan in the future.
So is the work product a report? Is it a presentation? Is it coming to talk to the redevelopment commission, to the mayor?
It's all the above. I think it could be all the above. I think it's all the above. Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously giving us information about how it affects us in the future, giving us a little bit more insight to how we should be conserving or preserving funds.
Okay. All right, thank you. It's in item 7, upon request. Attendance at various meetings with the commission, department staff, city's administration is requested by the client, including public presentations and or public hearings on the designation of an allocation area to discuss TIF, tax abatement approval, or proposed redevelopment areas or other financial incentives. And any other comments or questions to Skylar about this agreement for professional services?
Can I just add one more thing?
Sure.
The reason we chose Dan Bowditch is he's very familiar with our tax structure here locally and how we operate internally locally, because he does a lot of our annexation analysis. So he's very much aware of the implications of local taxes and things of that nature. And he does this for a lot of local communities. Yeah. That would be it's kind of his specialty.
Yeah.
Sure. Skylar, I see it in the schedule. I was going to ask how long will this study or this analysis take, but I see this is going to be from May 1st through December 31st.
Yes.
So for that full duration, pretty much.
For him to get information and collect the information he needs, I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we just had this kind of happening. July 1st will be, I believe, when everything takes place from once the legislation is signed at the state and when it takes effect.
Any other comments or
I was
questions?
going to add that the EDC does use Dan to do all of our tax
Right.
analysis for abatements and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, this is definitely in his wheelhouse for sure. Mhm. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the agreement for professional services for Dan Bowditch, President of Development Economic Finance. I guess that's the name of his company. In a not to exceed amount of $50,000 effective May 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025.
motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Great. We have a motion and a second to approve the agreement as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion is carried. Thank you. Let's move on. Approval of the Baker Tilly scope appendix for 2025 debt issue on Tryon Meadows.
So you are very familiar with the Tryon Meadows project. We have went through successful rezoning. We have went through successful rezoning through Plan Commission and the council, and we have went through a successful bonding through a council as well. And we will be coming back and the establishment of a TIF to allow that bonding to happen, for that developer-backed bond to be provided. And it will be coming back to you at our next June meeting for the official confirmatory resolution to be passed that will allow kind of all these dominoes to fall in place. We already have an agreement with Baker Tilly for certain services. This is something kind of outside of that, because it's trying to kind of come up as a project. This is basically just for them to continue helping us take us basically to the finish line and make sure that everything gets put in place. After the TIF is established, what has to happen is, as they subdivide all of those lots, we have to make sure those get added into the TIF from a parcel ID. So he works with the assessor to make sure that they're identified and that they're added in, so we can start collecting our the TIF revenue for that. That's kind of what this summer.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments about this agreement? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the Baker Tilly scope appendix.
I'd like to make a motion to approve for the approval of the Baker Tilly scope appendix for 2025 debt issues for Tryon Meadow.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Baker Tilly scope appendix update. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Thank you. Next, we have approval of the Zimmerman Volk proposal for citywide residential market study.
Yes, let me. You may have heard me highlight the prison study earlier, and we used Zimmerman Volk to expand just that 100-acre site to really take in the whole west side. We will not be doing. We'll be folding that housing study into this housing study, should you approve it tonight. Zimmerman Volk have an interesting way that they do housing studies. It's different than what we traditionally have done in the past with Tracy Cross. They do. I think it's a potential, a market potential, and really like a demand. So they look at what people have been searching for. That's one thing they take into consideration. They look at what are they hitting at on MLSs? What are they actually looking for in our neighborhood? So if you see a bunch of people looking for townhomes, well, maybe there's a demand for that. So they take into consideration. They do a lot of different. Their analysis, a very much different way of looking at things, rather than just getting your starts and kind of analyzing that and seeing what's being built. It's very different. And then they also, I think, provide us information about what should we be focusing on and how many units we should be focusing on. You would see in here I would also tell you that they're much more affordable, even though they provide us a much more dynamic housing study. Our last housing study with Tracy Cross was upwards of $60,000. This one is $22,000, and I would like to have the whole amount. You can see here, just the citywide analysis is $17,500. You can see the extra $2,500 underneath. They're going to allow us to choose up to 2 sub areas, and Clarence and I have spoke about what we think some of those sub areas could be. Just like we did the prison on the west side, we're thinking we would do like a south side, and then maybe somewhere out near Tryon where we're actually doing our housing TIF now, and do some analysis about what some of those demands look like on a more honed in scale, if you will. So that's kind of what you're seeing here. The total amount of this that's being asked is $22,750. And like I said, I'm really impressed with the way they do their housing studies. And actually, I was at the economic development boot camp last week with ICI at Ball State, and these guys were highlighted for the way they do their housing studies. It was really interesting to hear that people are really impressed with the way they do it, and they fell in our laps because they were part of the Indiana State Prison team. So that's kind of how we got them.
What is the date for the deliverables? I'm not able to see that.
Let's see here. Not sure.
Probably be about 90 days.
Yeah, it's not very
90
long.
days.
It doesn't take them very long to do this. I think we had the Indiana State Prison in a matter of, it was like weeks. It was very quick.
Okay.
Yeah. I can get that and find out how long it'll take and bring it back to you if you'd like.
Okay. As long as you're comfortable with it, Clarence, you've worked with them, and Scott.
Yes, we have. We've paid for them through the prison study, so we're aware of who they are.
Okay.
And just as a comment, this is what most developers ask for. They want to know what's going on in the city, what demands. So
yes,
it's part of our discussion up front. And so we're trying to find ways to encourage mixed types of housing as opposed to one type of housing. And so this helps us with that.
One of the things we talked to them about too was having almost like an executive summary where it's not like, here's the housing study. What can we give to a developer or people coming here that they don't have to dig for that information? Yeah. And these guys do it really well. And we've even talked about how can we maybe come up with some graphics to even make it simpler to understand. So
great idea. Are there any questions or comments about this proposal? Yes, sir.
If I may, this brings up something else that is.
If you could just
I'm sorry.
On the record. Thank
you. Scott Melland, 200 Kenwood Place. Thank you for allowing me up. This is an important study, I believe. I'm sure it has great value, but it brings up something that struck me just the other day regarding development in our city. Centered on our intersection of Franklin and US 20, I was coming into town from the west, and starting where the old tire barn was, the access road to Kalin's Hardware, which in itself is an issue. But you see the vacant tire barn, clearly Marquette Mall site on that corner. But continuing across Franklin to the east, we have the new oil change place on the corner, but then we have a long-term vacant building. I don't know what it was. It's kind of blue and gray, and it's on the north side of 20, on the east side of the intersection, Clarence. And I was just struck by how terrible it all looked. Mm-hmm. And as excited as we've been with the new developments, the Tryon Meadows, the Moore, 11th Street Station, obviously, the two-way switch on Franklin Street, which I was wrong about.
you questioned. That's okay.
Although I think we're really insane with all our flashing yellow signs. I really think they're unnecessary.
As the side.
The street's marked. Anyway. But as with this study, which is why I felt this would be an appropriate time to possibly get up, to look at, and this town has been study crazy. It's one of the things people poo-poo. But what are the hopes? And I mean, I know Marquette Mall is sort of the cornerstone. That's a huge property. But what are we doing there on that very, very prominent? It's one of the busiest intersections in the state, as I understand it. It's some very valuable land that's just been terrible for 20 years now. I mean, how long do we put up with a vacant, derelict building? I know the mall's a whole special, it's a whole special problem. But we've got a lot of vacancies, and I can understand why some of the local residents are so kind of negative in attitude, and they can't see the good that's happening from the double track and all this other development. Because at the other end of town or other parts of town, it's just not so good. Anyway, I hope the study, although it's a housing study, might have some component to these very valuable commercial corridors. Again, thank you.
Mr. Millen, no offense, but there's this inherent right called property rights. So it's private property.
Eminent domain.
Well, very carefully. Now, if we do tax differently in the future, that's one thing. But
can I just, Madam President, if I might just add a couple other things, if that's okay, I'll be very brief.
Certainly.
Just to be brief and not to belabor anything, we have a lot of development happening. We also have a lot of housing now. When we did Tracy Cross, probably 4 years ago at this time, that was our last study. We didn't have a subdivision, 114 lot subdivision. We didn't have the train station then with the 220 units above it. We didn't have the potential of Fifth and Pine, and we definitely did not have Tryon Meadows. Hence why I think it's like really a perfect time to, or the more, which is a private development. I think this is a perfect time to kind of look at what we do have. It was always like the potential of what we could have, and now we have something, and I think it's going to give us some different analysis to show to developers. I really do.
Any other comments or questions? No? All those in favor, I would entertain a motion to approve the Zimmerman-Volk proposal for the citywide residential market study.
Motion to approve as presented.
I second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Zimmerman-Volk proposal for citywide residential market study. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried. Thank you. Next, we have SOLA updates and anything that people would like to know.
Yeah, I don't have any approvals today. I do know that we're coming up on our deadline that we set. I do believe they are still. We're still in the final hours of trying to finalize the financial commitments and things of that nature and our agreements.
Excuse me, just for the public's edification, if you could just let them know what the deadline is about and what
we gave a hard deadline in our last economic development agreement through this redevelopment commission of June 30th, and we're coming close to that. So that's really the only update that I have right now. We have been meeting with them weekly. We meet every Friday with their team and the team at the city, the RDC team. But that's really the only update that I have right now. I think we have another meeting scheduled tomorrow morning. We meet at 8 o'clock every Friday. So really
good.
Would you like me to just go on to the 11th Street Station too?
Sure.
So I visited 11th Street Station today. I would like to say that you're really going to be amazed when you go in it. It's really beautiful for the public's knowledge. I think the city's going to have something that you can be really proud of. To say that you, as a city, you've accomplished this thing. It's got the glass into the front historic facade now. You can actually go inside. It's conditioned. They're painting the inside today. I walked the whole entire garage all the way up to the top. The view is spectacular. Wait till you see it. And that's just a garage. What else can I say? Elevators are in. That was one of the big holdups. We're working on the sign, the historic sign now, to go on the historic facade. We're they're probably going to start pouring the concrete exterior for the ramps up to the actual historic facade so you can get in the door. What else? Coming right along with the tower, the coordination with our water department and the tower is that's kind of that was one of the holdups is we got a delivery of stuff coming in. I don't know what the stuff was, but it was things for the tower, so they had to hold off a couple of days and let all that get delivered. So it's not just all the water department's fault. But we are building a 12-story building directly next door to a 17-foot wide cut and hole in the ground. So it's been very difficult to have all the moving parts down there so close together. That's it. I think you're really going to be impressed when you go into the.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any questions to our director on any of those things? Next on the agenda, we have report by legal counsel, but our legal counsel is out of town and his reception was spotty at best, so he will not be chatting. I don't think we have anything to update anyone about. No. All right, so moving on to your report.
Yes, I know that there's someone here in the audience who's probably curious about our liquor license things. We did speak last time at our last redevelopment commission meeting about changing our liquor license, both boundary and rules associated with those, and adopting new ones and moving them forward through formal approval through the council. We haven't forgot about that. It just I was out of town last week and we moved the meeting, and our legal was out of town this week, so we plan on having that on the next agenda, and I see you out there, so I want to make sure I address that for you.
Thank you.
Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any questions to Skylar? All right. Any commission comments?
Do you want Phil to introduce himself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Phil Atchford. I'm a Michigan City resident. Obviously, I'm grateful that the mayor reached out and asked me to join the board. I've had some experience through different government boards on governing and managing some departments. And I'm excited to be here and looking forward to participating and adding some value to the decisions and the direction from the Redevelopment Commission.
Thank you. And your sweet spot is finance, correct?
You might say that, yeah, thanks.
So another set of eyes on the money, that's always good. Thank you. We're really glad you're here, Phil.
Thank you.
Thank you. Clarence?
Just quickly, next month, Scott and I are presenting at the Chamber of Commerce luncheon. Again, an update on what's going on in the city, so we're excited about that. So it's always a good. Within the last 5 years, it's been great to do that for the Chamber of Commerce. So June 11th, they're going on their website. They're selling tickets. So, but a lot of great things happen in the city. Housing is moving forward. We have over 2,000 units either in the pipeline or in planning or under construction. Great time for the city to see this happening across the whole city, not only in downtown. So we're seeing, I mean, it began in downtown. We're seeing now on the east side and now on the south, some of the south side. We're talking to a lot of developers right now, looking in Cleveland Boulevard and other parts of the city that you will see more housing in the future, both apartments, single family. Working with the mayor and the planning department on affordability of housing, what that will take. We're talking to some agencies downstate, what it takes to make that happen. Lots of heavy lifting. I know everybody talks about one affordability. It's not easy. The price of plywood is the price of plywood. So how do you make it affordable? That's always the issue, and that it becomes a federal or state subsidy to make that happen. And so working to make that happen right now, because we want to make sure we have affordability here in the city. Also talking to a couple of churches on land they own and partnership in the future, what that could mean. They're focused mainly on senior housing. And so, again, trying to make that happen within the community. Again, heavy lifting, but doable. And talking to a number of developers who specialize with working with churches. Again, that's a specialty and something I learned along the way. So trying to figure out how to make that happen here in Michigan City. But so exciting times. In terms of industrial, Tim, want to get those water and sewer lines out on Highway 20, we're getting a lot of requests for new buildings from companies looking to move to the state of Indiana. The electronic vehicle plant, Amazon, is an attraction. And so even though they're not happening within the city limits, suppliers want to be close to those type of projects. And so we're getting the calls for smaller locations, 100,000, 200,000 square feet, not 1,000,000 square feet, but those are great projects for us to look at in the future. Talking to two possibly industrial developers, but industrial spec buildings, buildings that are ready. One of the downside for us is people call, they want to move. We don't have a building ready. It takes you 18 months to build a building. So how do you get a building that's we're ready to go, or at least built that we can move into? So that's always an issue for us. You're always kind of behind on that one. But so exciting times for the city, and just trying to stay focused and stay ahead of it. So I want to take the liberty of having that gentleman come and say who he is and what he's got going on in downtown Michigan City. Yes, you.
Thank you, Clarence.
Exciting for us to have this new facility. So
well, thank you, Mr. Hollis. I appreciate that. So my name is Jonathan Albertine. I am newly created or appointed events coordinator and kind of project director at Barker Hall at Trinity Church here in Michigan City, 600 Franklin. We are looking to be a bright light shining downtown, but for Michigan City as a whole, as an event space, as a place for cultural enrichment, and supporting the community. So with the arts leagues and with just anything. The Main Street Association, I'm becoming involved with that organization at this time. Yeah. So
what's the size of your event space? How many people can be in there?
Right. So we have a variety of opportunities for meetings and for convention and for celebrations. The Great Hall is going to accommodate us up to 300 or more people. We have a wonderful stage circa 1929 with a lot of original equipment in there, scrims and movie screens. We can do banqueting in there as well for up to 200. We also have at this time available the Bishop's Residence, which was originally designed in 1904 for the Episcopal Bishop of Northern Indiana. 40 people in there. We've had a wonderful wedding, bridal shower in there recently, chamber music type events, very formal setting, teas and that sort of stuff. There are also breakout meeting rooms on the lowest level of Barker Hall, which are different stages of renovation at this time, coming online soon. I am available. We are available for a variety of activities right now. I was very proud to sponsor the middle schools and the high school, Michigan City, in April for their jazz ensembles, and we had nearly 200 people come and watch the kids perform, and it's very exciting, and I hope to be able to offer cultural events like that in the future as well.
Thank you. Your social media presence has really popped up. So I've been seeing things and saying, who are these people? What's going on?
I'm having a ball with it.
It's great. It's wonderful.
And anything and everything that I can do to promote my fair city, our fair city. So that's important.
Well, it really infuses, everyone infusing energy is really good for the whole.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I think that's critical.
That's wonderful.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Well, I'm of a generation, so Facebook is primarily where you'll find me. My name, Jonathan Albertine, obviously, but then my alter ego Bubbles for Michigan City. That is general in sense, promoting a lot of things in town that I like. And then also Barker Hall at Trinity, Michigan City, is another Facebook page where I like to hold up a lot of great things that are going on in town. So I encourage everybody to follow and to like whatever they find on those places.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
As well. Thank you, sir.
Wonderful. Thank you, Scott, for taking that opportunity. Anything else anyone would like to contribute? Well, at this time, we will meet again on June 9th, 2025. And the only thing I would say is that although the weather is not exactly wonderful, we can hope for a break over the weekend, but everyone have a safe and wonderful holiday weekend with your families and friends. Happy barbecuing. Thank you. At this time, our meeting is adjourned. Thanks.